and welcome to the Shoogly paint booth. Obviously I have geared up now to spray the petrol tank. I have a design in mind, hopefully it will become clear as I go through the stages, but yeah, effectively this is a gazebo in my garden, some work lights and a fuel tank to spray. This is probably the most professional setup I can come up with, other than trying to use someone's actual paint booth. I've sprayed quite a few tanks now just out in the open, and you can polish out most bits of dust, but you know, it's hard work, and hopefully just this will prevent any flies or anything like that getting into it, any dust, and it also, if it happens to start raining, I won't be in deep doo-dah. So yeah, basically I'm going to give the tank a quick rub down with some wet and dry paper. It's all in primer, obviously you saw in the last episode. Looking pretty good, ready to be sprayed. Yeah, it's nothing more than that. I'm going to spray the underside first, just get a coat on that so that it's all nice and protected, and then we can kind of flip the tank round and start putting paint on it. Okay, it's absolutely stinking in here, so I'm not taking the mask off. I do have a little fan ventilating the place, but you know, it is what it is. That's my yellow laid down, so hopefully the design's maybe starting to formulate in your mind. I've got, that's a two-part yellow. There's a base yellow goes on, and then a very slight kind of pearlescent layer that goes over the top. That's going to be my stripe down the middle. And that green you saw me spraying underneath is going to be the main portion of the tank. So I need to let this cure now, and then I'll be masking it off and then spraying the green. Alright, I think that's a reasonably successful spray job so far. That's obviously the base coat's down, the masking tape's off now so you can see the final design. Next thing I need to do is to let this cure a bit, then I'm going to knock it back very slightly with some wet and dry paper, 1500 grit, and then it'll get the clear coat. And the clear coat is going to need to be done in a special way to try and bury the stripes as much as possible, because currently there'll be a little bump where that paint is thicker, obviously, on the green. So we're going to spray clear coat basically over the yellow first, and a couple of coats before we do the kind of overall coat, and that hopefully should bury the stripes in that clear coat, and then the transition will be less obvious, if not impossible to see. Fingers crossed. That's the theory anyway. I'm going to be using a 2K clear coat from a can. It's one of these ones you activate it before you spray it. Very straightforward, but again it's pretty nasty stuff, so I'll have my full respirator on for spraying that. Besides that, clear coat obviously is the last layer to go on, and then it'll be getting cut and polished. So, you know, still a bit of work to do yet, but it's starting to look like the tank I want it to be. Okay, a couple of days have passed, the tank's fully cured now. So the next thing to do is to give it a rub down with some wet sandpaper, just to smooth off any imperfections in the base coat, and then it's getting a clear coat on top before we cut and polish that. It's a 2K clear coat. I'm using one of the ones to activate in the can, so proper isocyanate containing 2K. It's basically petrol proof, scratch resistant more or less, and can be polished by hand or by machine. So it's the best finish for a petrol tank. So yeah, bit of 1500, 2000 grit sandpaper dipped in water to knock back the surface finish on this, then it gets the clear coat on top, and then it'll be up through the sanding grades on the clear coat, probably another day of curing before it can basically get polished to a nice gloss. Right, let me spin you a little yarn. Tank had a bit of a disaster, basically. What happened was, obviously, I painted it, and then I've put a clear coat on it, and it all seemed fine. and then when I came back to the tank a couple of days later, it had, the clear coat had reacted with the base coat. I'll stick up a little photograph because I didn't film it at the time. Didn't film it because I felt like banging my head off a wall instead of making a YouTube video. But I know in the past people have really appreciated my honesty and putting my hands up when I make a mistake, and this is unfortunately going to be another one of those times where I need to admit that I made a mistake and I'm paying the price for it because the paint job got completely ruined. Yeah, so effectively the base coat underneath was still trying to dry, whereas the 2K clear coat I put on top had already hardened. Therefore the solvent has been trapped under that clear coat and has eventually caused the clear coat to blister and bubble and come off. So that's where I'm at. It's the 2nd of May and the bike shed show is on the 24th, Friday the 24th to Sunday the 26th. So this morning I hot-footed it in the car up to Blair Gowrie to see a painter by the name of Gav, who, for those who don't know, Gav is a absolute legend when it comes to painting bikes, and the bike scene, especially in Scotland. Does a lot of painting for some very big brands and big names. And Gav has been a total superhero and offered to sort the tank for me. Not for free, obviously I'm paying for it. Literally paying the price of my mistake, but Gav has offered to sort the tank for me, respray it the way it should have been done in the first place, and it will hopefully be done in time for the show. So I am forever indebted to him if he manages to pull that out of the bag for me, and I just have to chalk this one up to experience. And I'm probably going to take a break from painting anything like that for a while, but if I do come back to painting something like a bike tank, there's going to be a lot more practice and refinement involved, and I'm probably going to have a look at like a spray gun setup as opposed to the aerosols. I find the aerosols just too unpredictable. Having chatted to Gav today, there's so much involved in painting. You know, the chemical compositions and how they all interact with each other is just very, very detailed. And you know, Gav's been doing it for 40 years. He's got a pretty decent workflow and understands, you know, what he can and can't get away with. So you don't just get that experience overnight. And maybe it's a bit foolish of me to think that I could pull out a pro-looking paint job with some rattle cans in a gazebo in my garden. But also, hey, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We have to keep moving forward. We're going to get the tank sorted. I just have to keep my fingers crossed that it all comes together in time. Yeah, that's pretty much where the story of the tank ends just now. Yeah, hopefully you'll get to see it when I get it back and when it's on the bike and the bike's all finished and ready to go to the bike shed show. Anyway, not the end to this episode I wanted it to be, but you know what, hopefully it makes for good content. Trying to look on the upside of this. I'm gutted. I am gutted because I really was proud of the paint job, and I was proud of the fact that I did it and I could say that I did it. But hey, it happens, doesn't it? It happens, these things happen. Yeah. Anyway, as usual, please give me a like, leave me a comment and subscribe to the Shoogly Shed channel. I know that you'll all be kind in the comments, but if you feel like not being kind, please don't be too unkind, because I'm hurting. I'm hurting enough as it is after all that hard work. So yeah. Anyway, I'll hopefully see you next time. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.